This is my personal OpenSquiggly account after I populated it with all of the repositories that I'm interested in and arranged my navigator the way I want it to be. Now, any user can set their account up any way that they want to do it. So if you don't like this arrangement, you can arrange it however you want. I happen to have my main project page right at the top, OpenSquiggly, since obviously I'm an OpenSquiggly developer. I've got my documentation mounted. So I've got, formatted documentation that's hosted inside OpenSquiggly. This comes from a Markdown file that's in Azure DevOps. Okay, so this is not stored in the OpenSquiggly database. Although you can author documents and have them stored in the OpenSquiggly database if you want, and use it very much like a wiki. But we give you the option to bring in external content. And then you can also bring in source code. So you can have either formatted documentation or source code, and those can all live in one environment. And then you can do searching, etc. So you can search across all your documentation in your code base. You see your full source code, and this can all be multiple repositories that come from, so you can combine things from Azure DevOps, GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, and combine them all into one unified account with a unified navigator and a unified search bar to search across everything with a single search. Okay, now as I said, when you first create an account, you won't see any of this because this is my personal account. What you'll do, everything will be completely empty, including your home page and everything when you create an account. What you'll do is you'll come into go into your user options, set up your external connection. So for example, if you're connecting to a private Azure DevOps organization, you would set up a connection to your Azure DevOps account here. And then once you have a connection to a particular, you only need this if you're attaching to private repositories. If you're connecting to public, you don't need to set up external connections. And then you go into your mount points, and this is where you set up the repositories that you want to clone. OpenSquiggly will bring them into your environment. And then from here, you can then graft these mount points into your page structure. So the way you do that is you add a page, and here we have this ability to add a mapped page. So you'll then pick, like let's say I want to add open source code. I'll just do this here, source code 2, let's say. And now what this is going to do, I've just grafted this mount point into my page structure. Right, and now I can move, let's say I want to move this anywhere I want. Let's say I move this up there. So that's why I'm saying that this organizational, or your navigator and your organizational structure, is completely customizable. That means that every developer on the team can set up their account for themselves, because everybody's working on different things, right? Everybody's working on different projects or different parts of the code. If you give a developer a million documents from a standard corporate wiki, it's going to be overwhelming because it's not going to be customized for them. It's not going to be customized to the user stories that they're currently working on. So each developer can create customized views to their information source code, or their information sources. Decide which repositories they want to bring in, how they want to graft it into their page structure, how they want to arrange it, etc. Okay, so let me show you just what it looks like when you create an empty account. To create an account, come in here, click on the create an account link, use the invitation code Gander shell, and then you can create an account as per usual. Once you've done that, you can then come in here and sign in. One thing to be aware of is that you want to make sure that you remember your login ID. This is what you're going to log in with. You don't log in with your email address like you do with some other accounts. So make sure that you take note of your login ID that you're using. All right, so this is what your account looks like. If you create a new account, everything will be empty. You'll have no homepage content, and you'll have no, connections or mount points. So you can, you can use this just like a wiki and start adding content to your internal pages. Here, for example, I'm just going to append a piece of content to my homepage. Go back. So now I have some homepage content, and let's say I add a page here called personal notes. So you can use this kind of like an Evernote. Think of it like Evernote or Notion for developers. But the big difference is that you can bring in external content. So from here, I would go and I would, add a new connection to whatever I was using. If I needed any private repositories, or if I was doing public repositories, you can just go straight to mount points. You can do a quick add. So play around with it. You can do a quick add, which is a quicker way to add a repository, or you can go into add new, which gives you this long form that gives you more options that you can set up. And then, like I said, from there, if you use quick add, it will automatically create the mapped page for you. But if you use the long form, then what you need to do is go and then graft that mount point into your page structure by coming down here and saying add a mapped page. This drop-down list will give you the mount point that you just added, and you'll then add that into your page structure. And then you can do, from there you can attach a whole bunch of repositories and start arranging your page structure any way you want to, and get something that looks similar to the my personal account that I showed at the beginning. Okay, thanks. Let me know how it goes.